seen at practice, what he's hearing, all that good stuff. Uh, I wonder who Brockway's rooting for. I think JC, you're on the Titan More
I,
Hotline courtesy of Comfort. Isn't
yeah,
Brockway a Miami Hurricane grad?
I was just going to tell you, he is a Cane and a proud Cane, but he does a great job with coverage of the Florida Gators, has been for years and years and years. Gainesville Sun, worked up in Indiana. I mean, he can tell you his resume. It's pretty impressive, and he'll give you some good information. But you are correct. He is a Miami guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did you watch the Olympics last night, JC?
No. I mean, I'm just not, a good Olympic. I am a very bad Olympics fan. I don't know what's wrong with me. It has nothing to do with anything other than just basic interest. And I watched Novak Djokovic win in tennis. I watched some of the golf, but those guys wanted to win gold. You could see the emotions on their face when they did win gold, Scheffler and Djokovic, but that's all I really cared about. I don't care about basketball, beating somebody by 50 points. Couldn't care less.
The only things that are exciting, I mean, look, I'm not going to take anything away from a lot of the sports that we're not familiar with because these people are the best in the world and they work their tails off. But to me, the best is obviously swimming and track and field.
Track and field, yeah, those are traditional Olympic.
I know gymnastics is as well. I get that, but those probably are the three that people really care about. I'm with you. Basketball, when the games aren't competitive, it's not even fun. So
like watching exhibition basketball and summer league games, just as I watched the Braves get smoked last night. I watched baseball, the Phillies last night beat the Dodgers. Stuff that nobody else cares about is what I watch. So, I guess some people care about baseball, not everybody, but we're getting to that time of year. And at the end of this month, we'll get into the crucial month of September, see who's going to make the playoffs. But QB, I was listening to you and Buddy yesterday. You guys were going through the roster. You were talking about these players. I think one guy that we really should keep our eye on this year, because you and I are pounding the pavement on defense improvement. And, of course, we've mentioned L.J. McCray, but the kid from South Carolina that they got for linebacker, Howard, is going to be a guy that I think we're going to really like watching here because he loves to get his nose involved in it. And I think that's where you've stated that the improvement has to start with the front seven. He is part of that, and he's going to be a big-time influence, I think, on our defense because I thought he was pretty damn good. He led the Gamecocks in tackles, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, I think the defense is going to be dramatically improved. I really do. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
No, you're not. No,
you've added guys that have produced. Yeah. I need dudes that produce.
That's right. Okay? And you've got corners that can lock you down. I think 2 NFL type quarterbacks and more. The other guy, kid, look, the front seven is exactly right. I mean, that's where. But QB, you tell me what you think of this. First of all, let me ask you this question off the top of your head. I know you've got some things to read and you want to get to that. But if you were to rank the quarterbacks 1 through 16, and I won't ask you to do that, but who would you put as, say, maybe the top 6 in the SEC? Can you rattle those off, or you want me to do it?
Did you say quarterbacks or
quarterbacks? Yeah, QB quarterbacks. In this league,
I would. I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but okay. I would say
just off the top of your head,
I would put Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck at the top.
Okay.
I would probably put, and we're just talking college football. We're not talking about, do I think they're going to be great pros or any of that stuff,
right? That's all we're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Jackson Dart's a very good college quarterback.
I got him at 3.
I think the kid at Missouri is a really good quarterback as well.
Got him at 5. Brady Cook.
I'm trying to think of who else. I would put Graham right there.
I got him at 6.
Yeah.
I got him at 6.
Okay. I have him right up there.
You got everybody that
then I would start. Then I would throw Milroe in there. He's still not a quarterback to me right now. I mean, he makes plays. He's gotten better. I would go Milroe. I would probably throw the Blake Shapen kid. He's going to put up huge numbers at Mississippi State. He's talented. The Tennessee kid is kind of, we don't know. Nico Lamaliva.
Yeah.
Trying to think who I've left out.
Well, Connor Wigman is going to be if he's
healthy. Yeah, he's down there about number 10 for me.
So this guy Nathan Seaback of USA Today Sports. I won't run through the top 16. He's got Beck 1, Ewers 2, Dart 3, and Milroe 4. But he's got Graham Mertz all the way down to 10 behind Wegman, Iomaleva, Nussmeier, and Arnold. And I'm thinking to myself, what did Nussmeier, Arnold, and Iomaleva produce here in the SEC recently? And it really comes down to, I guess he's just saying, going forward this year, this is what he believes. But Mertz is
no. See, some of these so-called people that do rankings, JC,
got to be higher.
It's just like they get enamored with combines. They get enamored how hard a guy can throw a football, how far they can throw it, how fast they can run, all the stuff that has not a damn thing to do with playing quarterback. Do I think Lamaliva and Wigman and Nussmeier could have good years? Yes, but there's no way that I would take any of them right now above Graham Mertz.
Well, that's why I have them, and you have them at 6. I mean, we have Cook. I have Milroe at 4. I just think as a dual threat, he's going to be very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, he's a damn good. I mean, like I said, put number 34 on him and throw halfback passes.
Well, he's been very effective at 20 yards or more, and that's his thing. We'll see if he's got the guys this year to make him look good too, because they had some really good receivers last year. I thought those guys were gone. Isaiah Bond and a couple others, but Alabama, I think some guy said he thought, it was some guy on 440 Sports. Damn it, his name is.
Damn, you watch a lot of shows. I've never even heard of 440 Sports.
Well, no, he works for 440 Sports, and I heard him.
I've never even heard of that place.
I know. I heard him on Sirius Radio on the Full Ride show with Lou Heisel and this other guy, and this guy says Alabama's going to be better than they were last year. So we'll see.
Okay. I don't know if people saw this or not. I think this is very interesting, though. Next year, the Bristol Motor Speedway will host a Major League Baseball game between the Braves and the Reds. You know what that track seats, right?
90,000?
146,000 people.
146. Okay.
I want to say Tennessee and Vatech played a football game there a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how they set up a baseball field there. But I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like it when they do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. He's got.
All right, let me get to some of these Facebook Lives.
Go
I got to
ahead.
get to. There was a couple. I got to pull them up on my phone because they go away on the computer.
Okay.
In the meantime, here they come. All right. People could hear me talking there. All right. So here's the one I wanted to read. I saw this somebody sent it to me the other day, and I meant to bring it up. First of all, Andy says Shane, Asa Turner, and Devin Moore wore black jerseys yesterday and did not practice. Yeah, no big deal. Those guys are old players or veteran players. I don't care if they take 3 days off. Here it is. Joseph says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel and Law. QB, did y'all see the story from Athlon Sports about Dion and the Colorado program? Players said it was like a real-life Grand Theft Auto video game filled with fights, guns, and money. Apparently, Cormani McLean was bullied the whole time he was there and was even slapped in the face by Shiloh Sanders. Prize recruit Jordan Seaton was forced into fighting another lineman to prove his manhood. Said it was like 2 bears fighting over food, 2 other players fighting over a $10,000 bet. One player said he wasn't paying. The other player's dad is a coach on the staff. Wild stuff. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me one bit.
That doesn't surprise you? I mean, you think that's going on at Colorado?
I heard a lot of stuff going on there at Jackson State too. So.
Well, that's not good. Colorado, they're in the Big 12, QB. And they moved from the Pac-12, of course, like everybody else, except 2 teams. And I heard you talking about the Big 12 yesterday with the very good Matt Murschel, and about UCF and this and that. Colorado has 4 wins if they're lucky on their schedule, if you ask me. And I looked at their schedule. Last year they went 4-8, started off good, but really ended badly. And so that's where you get the discipline issues with football teams, is how they end the season. Because some kids just, I don't know why, it's not good, but they just kind of fold. They just give up. And I don't know why they would do that. But this Big 12 race should be pretty interesting, too. I think maybe they could get
I think Colorado's going to lose their opener.
They're playing the Bison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're playing the Bison, but it's in Colorado.
I don't give a damn. They better buckle their chin strap because the Bison will run power left, power right down your freaking throat. So they better buckle up.
Buckle up, he says.
Yeah, Mitchell said, and some fans wanted Deion at UF. There, like I said, when people used to talk about that, I had a better chance of becoming the damn Green Bay Packers or Dallas Cowboys coach than Deion does being the Gator coach.
Did you know that Josh Jacobs signed with Green Bay? I'm just curious. Did you know that?
The running back
left the Raiders and signed with Green Bay. Aaron Jones went to Minnesota. And so Josh Jacobs, 4-year contract with
I like Aaron Jones, though. I think he's a better receiver than Josh Jacobs. Oh. But anyway, Coy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. Hey, number 9, were your throwing mechanics changed when the HBC came to town? Did you drop back, cock, ready to fire before he showed up? I had really good feet. Mechanics were good. He just changed my throwing motion. I had more of an overhand delivery. He changed me more to a 3/4. And then Tony says, why don't QBs hold the ball by their ear anymore? I don't know. I see a lot of quarterbacks now, boy, with some bad mechanics. They get away with it at times. And I'm talking about some college kids throwing off their back foot. You know, so many people are teaching this off-platform throwing. You don't throw off-platform unless you have to throw off-platform. Okay? You just don't do it just to do it. And there's only a handful of dudes that are gifted enough to do that on a regular basis. All right, let's get to some of these texts here, JC, on the Titan MR text line. Are you ready for them?
I'm ready. Fire.
Josh in Mississippi says, QB, I know you don't play the new college football video game, but Mizell in the slot, along with Badger and Wilson, with boarding him at tight end, is explosive.
Oh.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, Mizell can run, Wilson can run, Badger can run, Boardingham can run. So I do not play the game. I have not even seen the game, and I probably never will.
Well, I see the Gators in this personnel setting of one running back and one tight end. I think you said that. And
11 personnel.
11. And does 12 mean 2 running backs and 1 tight end?
12 means 2 tight end, 1 running back, 2 tight ends.
I've got it backwards. 2 tight ends and 1 running back. Okay. Well, yeah, and so you guys got into a discussion about this Jaden Ball. Buddy seems to think he's Derrick Henry, and you seem to think he's more right.
He's not. He's built like Trevor Etienne. They're about the same size.
Oh, is he? Oh, well, no, that's definitely not Derrick Henry.
Okay. No, we have nobody on our roster that looks like Derrick Henry.
Well, not
at the running back position.
Nobody does.
Here's a text. I don't know who this is from.
But he didn't say Derrick Henry. He just said he was bigger than what I think you said.
Yeah, he says, did you know our nation's first golf course was the Oakhurst Links in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia?
Oh,
did not know that. And he says, have Mick Hubert on your show sometime. We've had Mick on. Mick is enjoying his retirement. Frank says, Devin Moore was in a black jersey yesterday with his history of injuries. You hate to see this. I mean, look, I will just say this. If your right hamstring feels a little bit sore, they're going to put you in a black jersey.
Yeah.
If your thumb's banged up, they're going to put you in a black jersey. And with a starter,
he'll be in a blue jersey. He'll be in a blue jersey on the 31st.
That's right. He will be wearing blue or white pants.
And I believe Montrell. I mean, what's the story with Montrell? You got any updates on that?
Daryl's text on the Titan MR text line. Shane and Montrell misses the Miami game. I hope Webb will step up. JC talks Major League Baseball. I hate to say my 10-year-old grandson knows more about Major League Baseball than I do. I firmly believe Montrell Johnson will play against the Miami Hurricanes.
All right. He'll be in a blue jersey.
If he doesn't, you will see a mixture of Trayon Webb, Jaden Ball, Katie Daniels, and what is the JUCO kid's name? Jacoby Jackson, maybe?
Somebody was telling me.
See him as well.
Somebody was saying to me that Katie Daniels guy's got some real potential.
Oh, he's from West Point, Mississippi. He can run, bro.
Oh, he'll be fat. Yeah, no.
He's from the SIP.
Those are hidden gems, man. Those, Dan Mullen made a living off 3-star recruits out of the state of Mississippi. And
he was more than a 3-star. He turned down.
Was he?
I want to say he's the one that turned down Alabama.
Oh, it could have been. Well, those guys in Mississippi, they're out there. You just got to find them. And Dan, of course, did at Mississippi State, and now Florida's got a guy. West Point is right there by Starkville. I mean, literally
Yeah.
right there. That is right in the Bulldogs' backyard. I'm sure they hated seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Wes on YouTube brought to you by Qualify says, QB, what's Ally Sports? Just curious. It's part of Baker Sports, who I work for. It's kind of our own branding. We have tons of products that just private label. That's what it's called. But it's all throughout the Southeast. Mark's question for both of us, JC, what rookie QB in the NFL will make the biggest impact?
Oh. Well, I mean, I don't know how you can get away without saying Caleb Williams. I mean, he's going to start for the Bears. And
so is Jaden Daniels going to start for the Redskins?
Yeah, he'll start for the Washington and certainly will. But I like the setup that they've given Caleb Williams at the Bears. I don't really know what Washington has, but I think the Bears they've surrounded Williams with some pretty good players, and I think they're going to win more games. That division, the NFC North rather, with Green Bay and Chicago being improved, and of course the Lions, who you're going to pick to win the division. That division is going to be very competitive. I think very competitive.
All right, here's a good question from Jack on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum. We'll have Kevin Brockway in the second portion of today's program. I feel like the number 2 QB. I want JC's question. I want you to answer this first, JC. Then I'm going to answer. All right. I feel like the number 2 QB should play a few plays each game so they get better prepared in case the number 1 QB is injured. Of course, you know a lot more about this than I do. What's your take? Thanks for the text, Jack.
Okay. I'm glad Jack brought this up because I've kind of rethought my position on this after listening to Zach Alberverdi, who has been on this show and was I watched him with Andy Staples. We know
you're watching a lot of podcasts, JC.
Man, it's good stuff. So, and sometimes I watch this one when I'm not on. But Zach made some really good points about DJ Lagway. And the biggest point that I think he made that people have to accept is the fact that he's the highest paid player on the football team. And when you are that guy and there is a lot of investment, you're going to see the field, dude. You are going to see the field.
Right.
And listen, I get it with with Graham Mertz. You got to keep your guy going. You got to keep the rhythm and all this. But there's no question in my mind that Lagway is going to be in the game more than maybe I initially thought.
Well,
after listening to Zach, I think.
I mentioned point about
the recruits, but the recruits too. He made a great point.
That's all fine and dandy till you put them in and they freaking sack, fumble, or whatever. But look, I mentioned this months ago. I was on a team at the Redskins, the Buffalo Bills, the Chicago Bears, and maybe one other team that all had quarterbacks picked in the top 5. Okay. So the management says, okay, we're going to get him. We're going to insert him at least one series a game. Okay. Like the 3rd series. I can't tell you how bad those things went. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen with DJ if that happens, because Lord, we don't want that to happen, but it messes up the rhythm.
I get it.
But I agree with you. In today's world, it's like the NFL. They have to play the highest paid players.
That's it. I mean, that's it. And this kid is going to be the guy that is the point man for all the new players that are going to be coming to the school, and he can help bring in more players.
again, like I said, next year means nothing. You have to win this year. So he'll play some. But to answer your question, I personally, as a former player and as a play caller and all that stuff, I don't agree about just getting a guy in at the quarterback position to get him some experience. Because just because you put a guy in there for 3 or 4 plays and say he hands off, that ain't no damn experience. I mean, we could put JC in there in front of 95,000 people to hand off.
I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, God bless, I could absolutely do that. But listen, they're going to have opportunities, but Mertz is going to be in his 6th year, right? He's in his 6th year. One of the things, though, that you may disagree with was some of the folks that get nervous about the offense are looking at the numbers from last year, and I don't think that's going to have anything to do with this year. But Florida was ranked 59th nationally in points per game, and they were ranked 9th in the SEC in points per game. Now, I don't blame Mertz for all this, but he is the quarterback, and I think they were still scoring in the 30s. And the reason
Yeah,
they lost is because they couldn't stop anybody, and I
right.
understand all that.
Numbers
But
are skewed sometimes,
the
and
numbers
and
can
I
be
get
just
all
as good.
that. Like I
Yeah,
said, as much as people want to complain about the offense, and I get it, and I'm an offensive guy, and I really look at how we played, the
yeah,
offense was not the problem. And I
no.
think if anybody doesn't see that, people talk about the play calling, this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
Guys, when it comes down to it, if you can get off the field every now and then on defense,
Gosh,
if you
what a
could happen to give
oh,
us a short field, I mean, how about get a
yeah,
turnover and let's get the
yeah,
ball on the opposing team's 20-yard line? That does not happen.
right.
So,
But writing about defense doesn't get clicks, but it should. But yeah,
right,
you're right.
right.
You're right. I mean,
But
you're completely correct about this.
yeah,
This
so
defense historically bad, and they will be better. Like that's what we started off this segment with was my thinking that you're going to really enjoy this Pup Howard guy. I think you're going to
yeah.
like Buster.
Jason says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. NFL vets miss fall camp all the time. Have a great season. Montreal doesn't need camp as much as the youngsters do. It's all good. I agree 1,000% with that. All right, here's a text on the Titan and Mark text line from Frank. He says, speaking of the Olympics and swimming,
Oh,
if Bowles High School and Jacks were represented as a
oh,
country, it would rank 6th in total swimming medals in 2024. Congrats to all the swimmers who made a splash in Paris. That's true. Um, but Bowles does a good job recruiting them kids too, though.
they're a machine. They're a factory,
Yeah.
kind of like St. Thomas Aquinas. Jimmy wants to know if I'm still losing weight. I've kind of stalled. I've tried this new compound. I can't get down below 195, Jimmy. So I'm working on it, brother. But thank you for the question. I look, man. This weight thing. I went to the
Matt.
cardiologist yesterday for the first time in 20 years, and he asked me, he goes, "You got this, you got that." And all none of my symptoms were great. He goes, "Well, why are you here?" I said, "Well, I was referred to come here by my GP. He told me I need to come here because I haven't come see a cardiologist." He goes, "Well, you're probably the most healthy person in this building." Including myself. He was a Syrian. He was a funny guy. I really enjoyed that. But get your screens, folks. Get your blood panels done. Get all your screens done. It's very important every year. Prostate, all that.
Matt says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, all special teams is as much a problem as the defense. Yes,
Oh,
but
they were
defense was way worse than the special teams.
I
Way
mean,
worse.
it was just bad. It's just let's just rack it
Yeah.
up for throw the tapes away. Forget about 2023. You got to forget about it. And I get it; it's hard to do. And this is a show me situation. This team has to prove it. But listen, Miami's in the same boat, man. They're feeling the pressure down there too. This guy Cristobal has to win this year. And he's brought in Damian Martinez from Oregon State, and of course we know about Cam Ward and all these players, right? So it's going to be the biggest game and certainly the biggest season opener Florida or Miami has had probably in 20 years. Easily.
I agree. All right, let's get to
Yeah.
our Peachland Dental. Gator Nation's #1 choice for
Oh,
dentistry in Fort Charlotte, surrounding areas. Go visit them at
got me
peachlanddental.com.
on
It
this.
is the Wyndham. I think
Oh,
this is the last event before the playoffs, right?
might be. And I think probably most likely is. And, to me, golf ends after the British Open. But then there's sometimes the Ryder Cup during the year. This is a
Yeah.
tough tournament because, again, it's got these players that need to win. We're not going to see any of the guys from the Olympics, and deservedly so. I mean, there's no way we would ever see them. But I will say, Bryson DeChambeau should have been on the team. Having said that, I'm going to start. Oh, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can go ahead. I don't care.
Okay. I'm going to go with Cam Young. Maybe this is his breakthrough moment. He hasn't won a tournament yet. He's been in the top 10, top 5 a couple times this year. Maybe he can do it. His putter is what's let him down, but maybe he gets hot. So I'm taking Cameron Young.
Yeah. Real quick, Andy on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, and he's our swimming analyst on the
Okay.
program. He says Caleb Dressel swam for Bowl Swim Club, not the high school.
He's our swimming analyst.
Yeah, well, he is. He loves swimming, but majority of those people do swim for their swim club, but not their high. They're not part of the high school because he's a Clay Blue Devil.
He's a Blue Devil. Gotcha. Okay.
Michael also says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, do you think there are any mental guessing games at play by saying Montreal could be out for Miami, keep them guessing? I've never been one of those. The only thing that if you had let's say back in the day, you had a Chris Leak and a Tim Tebow. both were banged up. You didn't want to say who was going to play because they were like night and day when it comes to playing quarterback, right? So
Very
maybe
much
that
so.
made the other team have to prepare a little bit more. But these coaches and all the time that they put into practice and
Yeah.
tape and stuff, they're
Mm.
preparing for everybody. But a running back's a running back.
Do
You
you
got
realize? Do you realize how close Tim Tebow came to joining Mike Shula at Alabama?
oh, it was
And
very close.
if he had done that, chances are, well, we would have not seen him here, obviously.
Well, we
But
would have had Cam Newton playing.
true, but we would not have seen Nick Saban at Alabama and all that.
That's very true.
Think about that.
Blame it on Tebow.
That's right.
All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Brian Harmon.
Oh, okay. There's a major winner, British Open champion. I'm going to go with, man, this is tough. I'm going to take Webb Simpson. I like him in tournaments like this. This is is this in Greensboro, North Carolina? He usually plays his course very well.
I can tell you
it's in North
exactly
Carolina. It's in North Carolina.
well, that's his home state.
Yeah, I like Webb. Give me Webb. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go with Sun J.M.
Oh, shocker beyond all shockers. QB. All right, give me Maverick McNeely. Very impressive at the 3M Open. Played
Stanford
great.
Cardinal.
He played great at the 3M Open. He's got a lot of talent. My God, is he talented? I'm taking McNeely, Webb Simpson, and Cameron Young.
All right, my last pick. It will be Aaron Rye. So I have Sanjay M, Aaron Rye, and Brian Harmon. Those are our Peachland Dental picks for the Wyndham.
Go Peachland Dental, baby.
And some of these dudes probably have to golf their ball serious to move forward for the rest of the year. I don't know all the standings. Not going to look into it either.
You're not.
I'm not.
Well,
are you?
No, but I like watching some of these tournaments because I like seeing if a new guy can break through and get it.
No, I'm going to watch the tournament. I'm going to look up who needs to do what.
So what do you think at this country club in North Carolina, the winning score will be the range? I'm going to say between 16 under and 20 under.
Well, my question is, how much is it going to be delayed due to water?
It's going to be very slow out there. I think they've got so much rain with that slow moving.
So it's going to be lift, clean, in place, and they're going to be firing at the sticks, and they'll shoot a million under.
Right. So I'm going to say between 16 and 20 under.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Probably what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Man, it's getting close, folks. It's getting close. We are 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Just over 3 weeks away. So,
all right. Kevin on the Titan MR text line says, "Hey, gentlemen, is there no golf? You guys are more consistent than my 401k." Well, we just gave you our picks.
Yeah, I mean, we're good. We're good at the golf picks. I mean, we picked the gold medal winner. We've picked multiple winners on tournament this year, on tour this year.
All right. I got to answer this one. Let me pull this Facebook up. This is a good one. And then we'll get you out of here. We'll get to Kevin Brockway. So this from Richard, Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Shannon. Get the offense wasn't the problem, but it seemed like whenever the defense got off the field, the offense seemed to go 3 and out. I'm guessing this is what Napier means when he's talking about complementary football, but we've got to build on momentum when the chance presents. I agree 1,000%. But Richard, here's what I would say to that. I don't know who you follow in the National Football League. I don't know what other teams you watch. We can talk about the Michigan Wolverines who won the national title last year. There were times when their defense went 3 and out. Offense gets the ball and they go 3 and out. You know, if that was the case, people would score every time they touch the football. And nobody does that, right, JC? Nobody does that.
Right. Nobody does that. But we're looking for we want a level, look at me, we want a level of consistency on that side of the ball. That's what we need to see. We need to see consistency. We need to see turnovers once in a while, something like that. Win the turnover.
But I hear what you're saying because it's one of those deals where, you know, the defense does make a stop and then our offense goes 3 and out.
Yeah,
it doesn't just happen to the Florida Gators, is what my point is. It
that's
happens
right.
to a lot of
Happened
teams
to
around the
Missouri
country.
Tigers. It happened to Missouri Tigers a bunch of times last
I
year.
mean, it happened to the world champion Kansas City Chiefs
Yeah,
millions of times.
millions and millions of times. Absolutely. So, look, we're just looking for improvement. It's going to happen. You can't come from a base that low and not be better. They will be. Injuries are going to play a key. We got to stay healthy here. And this guy, Jack, on YouTube, and I kind of agree with him, says he thinks the first game is bigger for Florida because Miami plays in the ACC. So
Yeah.
you can make that case.
Yeah. All right, JC, have a good day.
All right,
we'll
man.
see you on Friday. That's JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick time out. We'll be joined by the Gainesville Sun's Kevin Brockway. We'll talk we'll give him a few hoop questions as well. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors, CertaPro Painters, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45. Our touchdown sponsors, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Nest and Wild. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Come celebrate Spurrier's Gridiron Grill 3rd anniversary on August 12th.
Ronald McDonald House is so excited to partner with Spurrier's again this year.
To get your tickets, go to www.spurriers.com.
Jerry, may I have one of your famous cookies now?
Only if he doesn't take them first.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogra State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ograinsurance.com or give them a call at 352-240-1779. We're going to go back to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by the Gainesville Sun's Kevin Brockway. What's up, Kevin? How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. How are things? How's your summer been? Okay.
Been pretty good. Now, Kevin, don't you dare, and I know you can't do this, but because the fans may not know this, don't walk up in the damn press box August 31st in a Miami shirt.
No, I am strictly objective. I'm down the middle.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
I'm sure your buddy Lamar Thomas though will be up there, in the stands in his Miami garb though.
Yeah, he likes to talk a lot of trash. All right, what you've been out to practice? I mean, they probably 5 or 6 practices in right now. Anything stand out to you in your 5 to 10 minute viewing period?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, everyone looks pretty solid. Obviously, the Montrell Johnson injury is a little concerning, although we saw him out on the field yesterday and he looked fine. I mean, he was walking around a little bit. He didn't have a brace on. So I think that the feeling is
he'll be ready to roll.
Yeah, I think the feeling is he's gonna be all right. But it's given some other running backs a few reps, and we saw Trayon Webb working obviously with Graham Mertz in the first team, and Jaden Baugh obviously he's coming off the good spring and so forth. And I think Marcus Burke has had a good camp. He's looked solid, and Andy Jean is working his way out in the receiver. I mean, I really like Elijah Badger too, and he and DK and Burke, I think that's going to be an interesting competition for that third wide receiver spot for sure. Physicality. I mean, it got there was some tensions yesterday. I guess Caleb Banks and Shamari Lyons got into it a little bit, but Joey Slackman played the role of peacemaker, and Slackman is another guy too that a lot of people are talking about in camp. Just his personality, his demeanor. As a guy that is kind of got a little bit of a settling influence, also a guy that is going to give a little bit of leadership to that area of the line of scrimmage. So just some things, random things that we're seeing. But obviously with the storm and stuff, we've only seen 4 of the 6 practices, and we're going to get a chance to talk to Billy Napier today as well.
Just from your time out there, I mean, I've talked to a couple of different people. They say this team looks a little bit more like an SEC team. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, no, it's more physically mature. And I think that's something that, we've talked about in the offseason. And, the other thing, too, is a lot of players, we asked yesterday about the biggest changes, and everyone, the consensus is strength and conditioning, pretty much, that this is a team that, with Tyler Miles and his staff, has really worked on their bodies, strength, speed. And I think that will play well in the SEC, Shane. And I do think that last year, a lot of the problems with tackling was basically, not a very physically mature team. If you looked at it, you're playing Jordan Castell as a safety, as a true freshman. You have Shamar James, your best tackler, goes down. So I think a lot of that had to do with the fact of, playing so many young guys on defense that probably weren't physically developed, and 18-year-old versus 22, 21, 22. And, with the way the, COVID and the transfer portal is, sometimes you're facing 23, 24-year-old guys out there. So I think there'll be a little bit of a difference, that it'll be still a little more physically prepared team against some of the bigger programs in the SEC, particularly like the Georgias, the LSUs. This year you got Texas teams with, grown men out there on both lines of scrimmage.
Live a healthier lifestyle with our bowl flavor smoothies and our amazing food. Tropical smoothie. When you eat better, you feel better. Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun is our guest on the Titan More Highline, courtesy of Comfort Town. Conyer Ron's been asking this, and I apologize, I haven't gotten to it. He's been asking like every day. Who are the kick and punt returners this season? I don't think it's been determined, but my guess would probably be right now would be Mizell returning kickoffs, and obviously you'll have somebody, maybe Tank Hawkins.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of people there. They've talked about Trey Wilson too, at punt returns and kickoff returns, his speed, although I don't know if you put him in that position. But, last year they had Trevor Etienne returning kicks, right? So, I mean, he was a starting running back. He's a guy that, Jacoby Jackson, the running back, Montrell. They've talked about Montrell returning kicks. So I think there are a number of different guys that you could go to there. Aaron Gates, defensive back. Jason Marshall a little bit too. So Sharif Denson, there's some of those guys are in the mix too. So they have a pretty wide variety of competition that's not necessarily over it. But Mizell is a guy certainly that with the straight line speed, I think makes a lot of sense back there for kickoff returns. And 2 years under Billy Napier, Shane, no punt and kickoff returns for touchdowns. And if you remember, Billy Napier, really made his mark in that Iowa State game when Louisiana upset Iowa State. I remember watching that game 4 years ago. What did they do in that game? They returned both a punt and a kickoff for a touchdown. So he's done it before at Louisiana, and maybe now with, certainly Joe Houston and Chris Couch coaching on the field, maybe they can, devise something up and get that unit more in check where maybe they could break one.
I can't now that you bring that up, I don't remember the last time I saw a punt return or kickoff return in college football.
I remember the last kickoff return for the Gators, I remember, was Antonio Callaway, and it was on an onside kick where he just took it and took off. Yeah. And I think that's the last kickoff return for the Gators, and that's going on probably about 10 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago, maybe.
But I'm talking. I haven't seen Georgia do it. I haven't seen Alabama. I mean, I haven't seen. Just you don't see that very often anymore. But yeah, it would definitely help.
Kentucky has a guy, Barry and Brown. I think he had 2 last year. So
did he?
So they do it pretty well. But I think Shane, a lot of these guys have such big legs now with the kickoff. And obviously the NFL is going to the new kickoff rules, so it'll be interesting to see. I know that they were concerned whether that was going to filter down to college or not. Joe Houston was talking about that, but it obviously hasn't yet. So.
Facebook Live YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Michael asks, does Kevin know what the scrimmage schedule is?
This Saturday and the following Saturday are going to be the 2 scrimmages. So, yeah,
it's not open to the public either.
Not open to the public, no.
It'll be a controlled scrimmage. They'll just do situational stuff. I mean, they may tackle, they may not. I don't know the answer to that, but we'll have to find out. All right, Kevin. So, I preach every day on this show. It's all about defense. I don't care about offense. I think the offense will be good enough to win games, but we have been pathetic on defense. From what you've seen at practices, I have not seen these guys in person yet, but on paper, the additions on the defensive side of the ball, I feel like are going to make a huge, huge factor because these guys have actually played somewhere and played a lot. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they have added some veterans, which I think is good. And, going back to even last spring, I mean, I think Pop Howard is an interesting addition, too, as another linebacker next to Shamar James. I mean, the health is going to be the key, too, in that regard, because, like I said before, the defense the first month of the season, if you looked at it last year, I think they were through 4 games leading one of the nation's leaders in scoring defense, and then it got banged up during the course of the season. But you need to keep guys like Devin Moore healthy. You need to keep guys like Shamar James healthy. I mean, I think Devin Moore, 6'3", rangy corner on the other side, he's going to be one of the keys. I mean, you got to keep him on the field for sure. But there's a little bit more depth there. Even Grimsley, the true freshman that's come in, you hear some good things about him. For sure. And he's going to be an interesting guy to see if he works in LJ McCray. But you got to get a better pass rush. You got to get, obviously, more interceptions, more big plays and turnovers. I mean, that really, only 3 interceptions the whole year. They studied that in the offseason, Shane. I think that's another big thing, too, is just, getting those takeaways. And that gives, you give an offense a short field, that makes the offense even better. So I think it's a combination of things. And Ron Roberts coming into some of the staff changes, Will Harris, Gerald Chapman, I think it's more of a no-nonsense guy as a defensive line coach, and I think he's going to give them a little bit more of an edge, which, maybe they were lacking a little bit under Sean Spencer. So I think that's going to be an interesting, just to see the line of scrimmage play and to see if, between the coaching and, guys with a little more experience and physical maturity, if they can kind of handle those battles inside and be a tougher defensive team.
Question for you, being a Miami guy, I know you follow the Canes. Obviously, they made some acquisitions throughout the offseason as well. What makes people around the country think Miami has a chance to have a good team this year? Is it all because of Cam Ward? I think Cam Ward's a very talented kid, but Cam Ward has not and will not play in an environment like he's going to be in on August 31st ever again in his life.
Oh, yeah, no question. And that's a factor. And we saw what happened to Joe Milton last year when he came in and played in the swamp. But I think Xavier Restrepo, one of the receivers coming back, and another guy, too, who obviously I watched in person and who really wrecked the Clemson game was Ruben Bain on the defensive side. And that's a guy, I mean, I think Austin Barber, who we talked to last night, that's going to be a huge key to that game, Shane, because, Bain is a guy that, I think he had 3 or 4 sacks that game. I mean, he's going to have to win a lot of those one-on-one matchups, or you're going to have to shade over because, that Miami pass rush is going to be tough, and you got to keep Graham Mertz upright. And as you know, last year he was sacked 33 times. He's not the most mobile guy getting out of the pocket, and you need to develop, a little more time in the pocket too to get that downfield passing game going. So that's going to be a huge key in that game. I think the Miami game is the offensive line play because, Miami's got some pass rushers. They've got some guys that can get at the quarterback and win some one-on-one matchups with a 4-man rush. So that's, Florida's going to have to be stout in that area.
Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. A few more minutes with Kevin Brockway. Andy's question brought to you by Mellon Law. Kevin, how much playing time do you think Cormani McClain will get this year?
Not much at all. No, I don't see it. Yeah. It's like I said, I think this is going to be more of a developmental year for him and to get used to the system and so forth. He's got a lot of physical development to do. He came in 165 pounds. I mean, I think that's pretty hard to compete in the SEC at that size.
Yeah, and I spoke with someone, you heard about a month or 2 ago, all this stuff about Cormani McClain, and I'm guilty of it because I just go by what you beat writers put out there or whatever. And, my thing is, look, if you show up late for meetings and stuff, you need to be punished or let go. Everybody that I've talked to over there said none of that was true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, where does this come about? But anyway,
There are some other things, Shane. Let's put it that way, that he's got to sort out. I think as well in terms of on and off the field that he's got to get straightened out. I think before he gets on the field. So but I do.
Yeah,
think
I don't
that,
see him playing at all this year. If he does,
but
it'll
I
be
think
on
the
special
physical
teams.
development is the main thing, Shane. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a long ways to go for sure. All right, Kevin, I got to ask you a couple basketball questions. How you feel about Walter Clayton Jr. running the point?
93 to 80, it's just a turnover ratio. He can be a little shaky back there. I mean, I don't like him as a point, but I think given the roster, I mean, you've got Denzel Aberdeen, who Torian Green loves, by the way. But I think you'll see a combination of the two, and you can slide him over. The guy I'm really excited about too is Elijah Martin. He's a guy who 2 years ago I thought was Dusty's best player on that Final Four team, and how they mix him in with Will Richard. I think they have a lot of options back there, and I think the two, overseas kids will play a little bit of a role as well. But I mean, maybe Walter can prove and show that, he's a little more steady with the ball this year. And if he is, scoring point guards are a weapon. I mean, Billy Donovan several years had scoring point guards, and it was very successful because it kind of keeps defenses honest a little bit. So if Walter can be a little more steadier with the ball, then, maybe it's a good move. But I think you'll see kind of a combination, different people bringing off the ball. Todd runs kind of a positionless offense that way anyway.
They had to play tonight. What's their starting five?
That's a good question. I would say probably Clayton, Martin, Richard, and then the two forwards would be Condon, and then
Washington
maybe
State guy?
Alexis or Chanelu. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be an interesting competition. I think you definitely start Alex Condon for sure. And I'm hearing good things about his summer as well. So, but Alexis, I hear, is rebounding like an animal in summer workouts. I mean, a lot of good things about him. And Chanelu gives you a little bit more size, though. So I think that's going to be, like I said, I think that's going to be an interesting front court competition. So I think Denzel will be the sixth man, and you're going to see him a lot too. And he's a guy I was really excited to watch at the end of last year. And interesting talking about Billy Donovan. He spoke at practice yesterday. He came out there yesterday, so gave the team a little pep talk.
That's a good person to talk to the team. We have a text here on the Titan MR text line. They're like me, and they don't know the kid's name. They want to know, and I'm going to answer and give my opinion on it. Want to know about the kid, that the 7'8" kid. How much will he play? I don't think he will play at all.
Yeah, no, he's a developmental guy, Oliver. He might, maybe end the games, if it's blowout or something like that. You might see him on the floor, but he, I mean, he's we would call it. I talked to his IMG coach, and I mean, I think the thinking is, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, you develop the guy, and obviously his size and could be interesting. I mean, he had scholarship offers to some lower level schools like UC Irvine, but bypassed it because he wanted to be a Gator. So, if he works hard and he develops, maybe a few years down the road, he can be a little bit of a factor. But he catches the ball not bad for a guy 7'9". He's got some offensive skills, but also I think he, from what I heard, people get into his body a little bit. You would think for a big guy, he'd be a better shot blocker in that regard. But, the lateral quickness and, being able to switch and pick up on a pick and roll, those are things that, you have to do now at this level. And that would be very hard for him to do.
Yeah, Handlockton is definitely redshirting. I saw him at the golf course a couple of months ago. He looked like he had a little bit of a limp to him, but from all reports, everything healed correctly?
Yeah. I just think he's got a long road. And I think Todd did a good job in the portal getting that 4-post rotation that he wants, because, you still have Houck and Condon back, and you have, Chanelu and Alexis Ness. So you've got enough guys to cover for that, provided everyone stays healthy. I think you're in a pretty good spot there where you can give Micah the time to just kind of get used to, work on his game and get used to, being 100% healthy again. And I think that's what this year will be for him.
All right, last question for you. Jets, your team. They're going to be any good this year?
Well, Hassan Reddick is 2 weeks into the holdout, and Aaron Rodgers is not happy with the center, and it's other than that, it's Disneyland in Florham Park. But no, I'm you gotta keep number 8 healthy. I mean, that's the key to everything, and the offensive line has got to. You brought in Tyson Smith, all right? You brought in some good guys on the line, and you would hope, fingers crossed, that the defense is going to be there. But you need Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old to do his thing, and the quarterback play can't get much worse anyway. So even Aaron Rodgers at 40,
who is his backup this year?
Zach Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, who's serviceable and who's he's been around a while, so you do have a little bit, I think, better protection there than you did last year. But for me, it's like you got to keep Aaron Rodgers healthy, and obviously. That defense, if it can, show its teeth like it did last year, then, maybe sneak in the playoffs. Why not?
All right, I'm going to ask you what somebody asked me earlier, who I thought would be the better, had the better year of the rookie quarterbacks this year. Who do you think?
Who I think is going to have the best year of them?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I hear Drake May is really struggling in New England, right? So, Jaden Daniels might be an interesting guy for sure. But Caleb Williams, I think, will get every opportunity to kind of be the guy in Chicago. So I'll go Caleb Williams. I think he's going to get that chance and get the keys from day one, and I think he's going to be that probably the best of the bunch. I love Michael Penix, but obviously he's gonna learn under Cousins. But I think long term Penix is going to be a really good NFL quarterback.
Yeah, they would be crazy to play him over Kirk Cousins right now, though. I'm a big Kirk Cousins guy. I think Kirk Cousins is that guy that most fans don't like because he's not flashy. He just does his job. He's a true quarterback. Kevin, good stuff as always. Let everybody know how they can follow you on Twitter and read your stuff at the Gainesville Sun.
Yeah, at Kevin Brockway G1 and Gainesville.com, Gatorsports.com, and we will be there all training camp. Myself and David Whitley providing best coverage we can.
Well, we appreciate your time, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
That's Kevin Brockway joining us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temps. CertaPro Painters of Gainesville is the area's leader in painting excellence and proud partner of the Florida Gators, offering professional painting services for homes and businesses, plus cabinet refinishing and carpentry repairs. Visit CertaPro.com for a free estimate. Again, thanks to Kevin and JC for joining us, and have a great day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.